Welcome to Advertising in IMC, Principles and Practice. Chapter 6, Strategic Research. Let's get started. Part 2, Principle. Be true to thy brand and thy consumer. Key objectives. Number 1, understand the strategic research process and why brand communicators use it. Number 2, discuss the main factors involved in designing a research study. Number 3, understand how to choose appropriate research methods and collect data. And number 4, describe current research trends and challenges. Lean Cuisine's story is about the importance of listening to your customers, being honest, taking risks, and the role of research in creating positive brand communication. After reviewing this case at the beginning of the chapter, what do you believe made Lean Cuisine a success? As Lean Cuisine's brand manager, what might you have done differently? The research process. Whether you realize it or not, you are engaged in strategic research when you look for the best college to attend. This means you actively sought reliable information to help you make an important decision. First, you recognized that you needed more information about college options. Then you probably began searching and sifting through several college websites and brochures, and perhaps you made some personal visits to a few schools. You tried to gather enough objective information and insight to make an honest comparison of the schools. And then finally, you made your decision, and you have been evaluating your choice with each passing semester. Research for a brand communication plan goes through a similar process. Figure 6.1, the research process. Identify the research needed, design the study, choose methods and collect data, and analyze data and report findings. The research process. Brand strategy begins with consumer research, the tools of listening. It can help us effectively segment and target markets with better understanding. Looking at consumer attitudes, motivations, perceptions, and behaviors. Research findings lead to analysis and insights into why people think and behave like they do. Why do we need research? Agencies and clients use research to make strategic decisions. Specialized firms and departments uncover and disseminate secondary research data that others have already collected. They also conduct primary research to ask questions and collect data of their own. How would you describe the difference between secondary and primary research? Secondary research refers to data that others have already collected. Primary research is information collected for the first time from original sources, such as primary research suppliers. Figure 6.2, the use of research in marketing communication planning. You start with market or brand information, you go to consumer insight research, this leads to media research and message development research. That goes on to advertising or an IMC plan, and then finally evaluation of the research. Why do we do research? How research is used in marketing communication planning. You have marketing information, consumer insight, brand information, media research, message development, and evaluation research. In the textbook example above, what was the role of research in creating these educational ads? What were the key research findings? Marketing research includes surveys, in-depth interviews, observation, and focus groups to use in developing a marketing plan and ultimately a brand communication plan. Market information. Marketing information includes consumer perceptions of the brand, product category, and competitors' brands. Brand information assesses the brand's marketplace role and performance, leader, follower, or challenger. How do we gather information about a brand in the marketplace? How do marketers gather information? They examine the consumer's brand experience. They may also conduct a competitive analysis, marketing communications audit, or a content analysis. As a class, define and discuss each of these techniques. The brand experience. Brand research is the first step. Learn where the brand has been in the past in terms of the market, its customers, and competitors. Elicit the corporate point of view regarding the brand's position within the company. Research the brand's relationships with its customers. Competitive analysis. Consider the brand's direct and indirect competitors and how the brand is positioned relative to competitors. Marketing communication audit. Collect every possible piece of advertising and other marketing communication for the brand and its competitors. Content analysis. A more formal and systematic tabulation of competitors' approaches, ads, and strategies. Provides clues about how competitors are thinking and suggests ways to develop new and more effective campaigns. Planners try to determine what mental territories or positions competitors claim and which are still available. Consumer insight. Effective marketing communication rests on truly understanding the consumer. The creative team and media planners need to know as much as they can about the people they're trying to reach. Researchers try to uncover the ways of the buys, but also reasons people don't want to try or buy a product. Consumer insight, collecting feedback. This can be obtained from customers as a part of interactive customer contact. Monitoring buzz and tracking behavior. The internet has made it easy to track comments about a brand. Neuromarketing. Uses technical equipment to scan the brain as it processes information and makes decisions. Media research. Media planners, account planners, and others decide which media formats will accomplish the objectives. Media research gathers information about possible media and marketing communication tools to use. Researchers then match that information to what's known about the target audience. Notice how important the informal research project in message development and diagnostics really is. Informal research is an active process in which writers and art directors get out of their comfort zone, they talk to others, and review past advertising campaigns. Message development and diagnostics. Planners, account managers, and the creative team conduct their own informal and formal research. Concept testing is used during the creative process to evaluate the relative power of various creative ideas. Semiotic analysis takes apart the signs and symbols in a message to uncover layers and types of meanings. Evaluation research evaluates an ad for effectiveness after it's been developed and produced, and before and after it runs as part of a campaign. Pre-testing is research on a finished ad before it runs in the media. Why is this an important step? Evaluative research, also called copy testing, is done during and after a campaign. After an ad or campaign is run, post-testing research helps determine the overall effectiveness in reaching objectives. Many IMC tools can also be assessed over time as they run. Coupons redeemed, contest or sweepstakes entries, and other things. Design the study. When conducting research, you don't always have to reinvent the wheel. Secondary research is background research using available published information. Sources can include government organizations, trade associations, secondary research suppliers, and secondary information online. Secondary research. Government organizations provide stats that can greatly enhance advertising and marketing decisions. The U.S. Census Bureau provides a wealth of information about the U.S. population and economy. Other government agencies generate reports that help advertisers make better decisions. Take a look at these organizations and get to know that much of the information you seek is already out there and available to you. In fact, a number of suppliers specialize in secondary research. Secondary research. Secondary information on the internet. Company websites can reveal the history and philosophy of doing business, their product line, and their company leadership. Blog and social media sites can tell you a lot about people's reactions to brands and products. A classic advertisement. "Takes a tough man to make a tender chicken" was the signature line for a long-running campaign that began in 1971 for Purdue Farms. The ad features the owner, Frank Purdue, as a plain-spoken farmer who cared about the quality of his chickens. Basic research designs. Quantitative research design. Quantitative research delivers numerical data such as numbers of users and purchases, their attitudes and knowledge, their exposure to ads, and other market-related information. Characteristics include large sample sizes and random sampling. The MRI page. The MRI report breaks down the 18 to 34 age market into 4 market segments based on the size of the household and the age of the children, if any, and describes their television viewing patterns. Qualitative research explores underlying reasons for consumer behavior. How does qualitative research differ from quantitative research in the previous slide? What are the strengths and limitations of each type of research? Qualitative research design. Used to probe such questions as, what type of features do customers want? What are the motivations that lead product purchase? What do our customers think about advertising? How do consumers relate to the brand? And what are their emotional links to the brand? Qualitative research is used early in the process of developing advertising plans, the message, and the strategy. It is exploratory in nature and designed for generating insights as well as questions and hypotheses for more research. Do you believe that qualitative research is superior to quantitative research in seeking consumer insights? Experimental research design. Experimental research scientifically tests hypotheses by comparing message treatments and how people respond. It's used to test advertising appeals and executions in product features, design, price, and various creative ideas. Choose methods and collect data. Survey research is a quantitative method using structured interviews to ask a large number of people the same question. For accuracy, researchers select a random sample to represent the entire group or population. Collection methods include telephone, cell phone, door-to-door, the internet, and mail. Now that we've reviewed qualitative research, what are the relative strengths of quantitative research? What can it do that qualitative research cannot? Interviews are a common survey method. They may be done in person, over the phone, or online using Skype or FaceTime. Phone surveys are commonly used. Often they come from commercial call centers where many people are hired by a research company to run a bank of phones. Sampling and data collection. With sampling, people interviewed are a subset of the population that is representative of the entire population. What's the importance of a sample being drawn at random? How does randomization make the sample more generalizable to the larger population? Online survey research. Online surveys now make up half of the $3.3 billion spent on market research. Tens of thousands of requests can be sent out via email in a matter of seconds. It's much less expensive because the data is captured by a computer rather than live interviewers. Rebranding begins with research. Billings because. A rebranding campaign for Billings, Montana began with a broad survey of people involved in the business of supporting the city. For online surveys to work, they need to be supported by an invitation to participate that showcases the easy-to-use message. In-depth interviews are a qualitative method using one-on-one interviews and asking open-ended questions. Interviews are more flexible and unstructured. But remember, since they use smaller sample sizes, results cannot be generalized to the population. In-depth interviews are conducted one-on-one with open-ended questions that permit the interviewee to give thoughtful responses. Focus groups are conducted around a conference table with a researcher serving as a moderator, working from a list of prepared discussion questions. Focus groups are a qualitative method where a small group of users or potential users gather to discuss a product, brand, or advertising. They are directed by a moderator and observed by a client and agency personnel. Focus groups can also be conducted online. Have you ever heard of the term crowdsourcing? What does that mean? Qualitative methods, customer suggestions and feedback. Dialogue creates new ways to listen to customers. Customers' responses or feedback are gathered primarily through research. Today, feedback is achieved by monitoring new and interactive forms of marketing communication. Discuss the advantages of expert panels versus consumer research panels. What would be some of the uses, strengths, and limitations of each type of focus group? Observation research. Observation researchers study the actual behavior of consumers in settings where they live, work, shop, and play. It is closer and more personal than most other types of research. Researchers use video, audio, and disposable cameras to record consumers' behavior in a range of settings. Ethnographic research. This involves the researcher in living the lives of the people studied. Observers immerse themselves in a culture to study the meanings, language, interaction, and behaviors of people. The idea is that people's behavior tells you more than you can ever get in an interview or focus group. Diaries. Consumers are asked to record their activities through the use of diaries. Diaries are valuable in media research because they tell planners exactly what programs and ads consumers watch. Diaries can also lead to a helpful reconstruction of a typical day in the life of a consumer. Other qualitative methods: word association, fill in the blanks, sentence completion, purpose-driven games, theater techniques, sculpting and movement techniques, story elicitation, artifact creation, photo elicitation, photo sorts, and metaphors. Research leads to a fresh approach for Evian. The metaphoric ad equating Evian sparkling water with a mermaid tries to add a touch of originality, as well as meaning, to the Evian brand image. Validity means the research actually measures what it says it measures. Poorly worded questions and samples that don't represent the population hurt validity. Reliability means you can run the same test again and get the same answer. Reviewing the best uses for quantitative and qualitative methods above provide an example or two of research projects that would utilize each method. Analyze data and report findings. All types of data require findings to be summarized so they can be interpreted and implemented. A valid quantitative study can be allowing you researchers to generalize the findings to the larger population of interest. Qualitative studies produce data in the form of observations, verbal reports, and even images. Online research trends. Sampling challenges. With new media and the internet, research experts must find ways to locate samples that are representative. Global issues. The challenge is how to arrive at an intended message without cultural distortions or insensitivities. IMC research challenges. IMC planning requires research into many stakeholder groups and contact points. Looking ahead, research and analysis to lead to insight into consumer thinking and behavior lead to brand communication plans and strategic decisions, which will be the topic of Chapter 8. The research findings also lead to message strategies, which we introduced in Part 3, and media strategies, which will follow in Part 4. It's a wrap. Lean cuisine weighs in to support what really matters to its customers. Turning around a sales decline and giving a brand a fresh and meaningful connection to customers is difficult. The #WeighThis videos were an instant and viral success, contributing to a 33% increase in positive brand perception. Today, lean cuisine is no longer perceived as a lonely single woman's quick fix dinner, but an advocate for female empowerment, health, and wellness. Clearly, listening to consumers pays off. Hashtag Weigh This connected with its customers in a meaningful way. Key lessons. This campaign resonated emotionally with consumers describing how they wanted to be weighed. Posts fluttered into Weigh This in Lean Cuisine's social channels. Weigh This was an integral part of Lean Cuisine's holistic turnaround strategy. It largely contributed to the brand seeing its first sales increase in 6 years, despite a decline in media spend year over year. Thanks for watching. Please check out the other videos in this advertising and marketing series. Thanks again.